I always tell this to say this to people. I go, the best way to grow your business is to think about what the bottlenecks are within your business and just think about how to unbottleneck them, right? And so in essence, for us, one of the pieces to your point was this lead nurture process, which was a pain because we would hire people, lead nurture sucks, right? You're calling a bunch, you're doing a bunch of things like, so say you got 10 new leads, you got to call them all, you got to call them 3 times a day to follow up with them. They're getting automated text. They're, these guys can be brutal because they're cold leads. So they're not like when you're calling them, like, don't call me again. I told you not to call me. Like they're just tough on the phone. Right. So what happens is people, we would train them and they would start they'd start off great. And then what happened is over time, they would just fall off with their performance. And so what I think is a big change that I've watched is this AI bot, to your point about it's a high value task in the essence of scheduling. However, it's a low task in the sense of the volume you have to do. So it's watered down, right? So the aspect to your point is I get what you mean, like in comparison to the low volume, because for the lead people doing lead nurture out there, I don't want to think they shouldn't be doing it. It's a super helpful process, but it's tedious, right? The tedious task. So to hand this off to somebody who loves the tedious and doesn't care about the tedious, it's tremendous, right?
Yeah.
So what happens is like the idea that the technology is getting better that much faster. I think that's the problem it solved for us is we don't have to hire another person again. We can just put this thing in charge of it, and it'll just get better and better and better, and for less money than it would cost to hire an employee, right? That's the difference.
Well, that's right, and that this is I want to be respectful of your time here, and but I'll say one thing, and then we can save it for the next episode if you like. Is that the other side of this coin? For anybody like that's made it this far into the episode, now we've like convinced everybody that it's going to be the repetitive low value tasks are going to go away. But the flip side of that coin is that somebody's listening to this and is like, oh my gosh, what do I do to like not be one of those people that gets disintermediated? Whether you're the DPT or the front desk admin, either way, that's a fair question to ask. I think in this new world that we're heading into, I think ultimately the differentiator or the people that are going to become the most valuable are either going to have very specific skills, like you've got a DPT, you've got a medical thing, you're doing something that really only a human can do.
Yeah.
Or you've got the social skills that a computer may not be able to ever get to. So like charisma, or just like the ability to look somebody in the eye and nurture them through the waiting room or the pain or whatever. So it's like social skills or specific knowledge. And then, the Venn diagram of that is probably a superpower,
No, I
but
agree.
technology is sort of coming for everybody else. It's just clocking in and clocking out.
Yeah.
And this is true of every industry, by the way, not just healthcare. It's every industry.
Well, I love the idea. I was listening to Elon and Grok, and they were talking about even like blood work and putting in the Grok, and then all of a sudden it'll tell you what's going on, right? I think it is. It's coming for everybody, and I think the good news is I don't even say it's the first time in our sector, because look at the MRI and look at arthroscopic surgery. Like there's all sorts of things that have like disrupted several different things for the better. So no, I totally agree, man. I think I would encourage people, again, if you made it this far to the episode, to embrace it versus push back on it. Like to your point about the mentality of, oh, it's going to come for all of our jobs, blah, blah, blah. Well, I mean, maybe, but at the end of the day, like if you don't, I love this quote because there's a guy that I've worked with in town, and I love the quote that he uses for his like slogan of his business. He goes, AI isn't coming for your job, but somebody who's using AI is.
Boom.
Right. And that's it. That's the difference. So it's like, it's a real point to me. It's like embracing the AI and the technology will actually put you at the forefront. And to your point, you just talked about a skill, because I know that I'm going to be able to fill in the gaps with the charisma and the skill to be able to elevate the whole thing. Totally agree, man.
If you'd like to learn more about Strata PT and see how our EMR and RCM works, head over to stratapt.com to book a demo.